Hello and welcome to Tiikat's Christmas workshops. Today we're going to be making some Christmas cards for all your favourite people. So what we are going to need is some old cuttings from perhaps magazines or some old Christmas cards. They can be good to use. You're going to be using a card and an envelope, or you could use a piece of cardboard folded in half. I've got a pressed leaf here, but you can use any bits that you find around. I've got some tissue paper and we've got some card. There's a couple more cards there. And some scissors, very important. And a glue stick. You could use Pritt stick, or you could use double-sided tape, or you could use anything you can get your hands on really for glue. Some PVA. Right. So let's get started. First of all, I'd like you to take your piece of card, pop it in front of you, and then we need to think, who is this Christmas card going to be for? So you take a nice comfortable seat, get yourself nice and comfortable, and I'd like you to close your eyes. Now, imagine that you are in a snowy paradise. It's so snowy outside and you're all wrapped up lovely and warm in your winter clothes. In the distance, you can just about see someone's silhouette, and it's someone very special to you. Who might it be? Might it be your mum or your dad, or perhaps an auntie or uncle, somebody else in your family, a sibling? Maybe it's a friend. Who knows? So you're starting to imagine them and just take a few steps towards that person. And then you can see them very clearly now. You notice what they're wearing, what colours they're wearing, whether they have a hat on. Maybe they've got a hat on or some warm boots. Now walk inside. You're going to go into a lovely cosy hut with a fire. And both sit down comfortably on a chair. And I'd like you to ask them a question. What is your favourite thing about Christmas? Right, now open your eyes and have a look at your card. Who did you pick? I picked Tiikat, and I know that Tiikat's favourite thing about Christmas is spending time with his friends and family. So today I'm going to have a look at the materials that I've got and I'm going to see what springs to mind. So what have we got here? We've got a cactus Christmas card. This one's got a pug on it. These are all cards from last year, but you could use magazine cuttings or anything else. I think I've had an idea. So here we've got a red squirrel. Tiikat's best friend is called Nagano, and he is a red squirrel from Finland, which is where Tiikat's from. So I think I'm going to cut out this red squirrel. Just think about that person. Think about what's their favourite colours. Perhaps you could cut out some tissue paper. Here we go. Now pop this to one side. Now when we're decorating cards, it's all about thinking about the arrangement of things on the front cover of the card, because that's the main event, isn't it? That's the bit that's being displayed. So if I rest that there in the middle, now that does look very nice, but I think we can make it look even more interesting. So let's put down a background to mount our picture onto. I'm going to use a piece of tissue paper here, and with tissue paper, in one direction it will tear very nicely like this, and in the other direction, oh no, this one tears both ways. That's good. Sometimes it's a bit tricky. If you're struggling, you can use the edge of something, like the edge of a card here. Press that down and then rip the edge here. Whoops. Very nice. I always used to make Christmas cards when I was younger and give them out to people that I liked in the playground or my family. Right. Now I've got this bit of tissue paper for the background, I'm going to give you a special tip. tissue paper can be quite tricky to stick down because you put glue on the back and then it starts sticking to itself and you're fluffing it around and you've got it stuck to your top before you know it. So I'm going to give you a special tip here. What we're going to do is pop the tissue paper down on the card, put your finger in the middle of the tissue paper, take the lid off the glue first, pop your finger down here, gently fold this back. So you're not going to do a crease here, but just gently fold it back. Bit of glue on that corner, bit of glue on that corner. Now we've positioned it exactly where we want it, so now we just have to smooth it out like that, and that's glued down. Fold this side in, bit of glue here, bit of glue here, and that's made sure that the tissue paper is exactly where we wanted it to get stuck down to, and it's not stuck to my hands or stuck in my hair or anything like that. Lovely. Now let's rest our squirrel on top here again. That's looking much better, much better. But what else could we layer it up with? Perhaps a leaf? What do we think about that? I think that's quite nice. So let's stick down a leaf there. If you've got pressed leaves at home, you could also paint them gold or spray paint them or paint them red, Christmassy colours. And lay that down. Very nice. Now, I think that that's almost perfect, but my favourite thing to do when making Christmas cards is to make little springies so that your picture jumps out off the card. So I'm going to show you how to do that now. You can do this with scraps of cardboard, or I'm just going to cut some strips of cardboard. That one strip's probably going to be enough. Cut that piece in half. Now pop a bit of glue on the bottom here. And you're going to put this one, let's give you a different colour background so you can see what I'm doing with my hands. Pop this one on top at a right angle like that. And then the piece that is underneath is going to fold over and upwards the other way. And then the other piece folds over the other way. And then the top piece over and that piece. And so you're folding it over the top of the other piece until you've run out of cardboard, and then you're going to pop a little bit of glue on there again. Lovely. Now if I let go, you can see that this is nice and springy. Excellent. Now you could use a bit of double-sided tape for this. I think I'm going to use my glue stick because I've got it right here. But sometimes double-sided tape will stick it very securely, and perhaps a bit more securely than the glue stick. So that's good to use if you've got it. Otherwise, this glue stick will do just fine. I'm going to stick this to the back of my squirrel. So I think I'm going to pop two on. So I'll pop one there. We'll make one more quickly. Right, now that I've made this second spring, I'm going to glue both sides like that and pop that one down there. Now that we're on the springs, we can stick it down. So make sure you've got a good amount of glue on the bottom. Work out where you want him to be. And then press him down nice and hard on top there. So, this is what the card looks like close up. You can see here that Nagano is able to bounce around on the front of the card. So now what do we have to do before we put it inside our envelope? That's right, we need to write inside the card. Now I'd like you to think back to the exercise that we did at the start where we thought about your friend. Think about your friend. What is it, your friend or your family member, what is it that makes them really special? Are they always a really good friend to you? Do they walk to school with you, maybe? Or maybe it's your mum and she makes your packed lunches every single day. So have a little think about that. My card is for Tiikat. And I'm just thinking, Tiikat's a really good friend. And he's also very good at... He's very good conversation at a dinner party. He's very, very good. Right, so I'm going to write, I think, Dear Tiikat, thank you for sharing all your adventure stories with me. There we go. And then I'm just going to write from Louise. Or you could write love from or love. And a little kiss. There we go. Right. So that's my card. All I have to do now is pop it in the envelope. Be careful with your springy bit as you pop it in there. Close up the back. And then I could write on the front, to Tiikat on the porpoise, on the ship that he's travelling on. Right, that's one Christmas card idea. So, here's one more idea. All you're going to need for this is a piece of green card and perhaps whatever else you've got around. So first of all, you're going to fold your card in half. Make a nice fold there at the side. Use your pencil to draw half of a Christmas tree. So what we're going to do is draw this part of the Christmas tree and then we'll cut it out and you'll open it out and it'll look like a whole Christmas tree. So I'm just going to start at the top here and I'm going to draw a diagonal line downwards and then I'm going to do a step in, okay? So down and a step in. And then we're going to do that one more time. Diagonal line outwards and a step in. And again, diagonal line outwards and a step in. And this time, we're going to go all the way in, leave a little space at the bottom there for your trunk, and then we will bring it out here, and that will be the floor. Right, now let's cut these out. Now, what I like to do once I've made this kind of a card is to fold it the other way around so that any pencil marks are on the inside and you can't see them as much. Lovely. Now you can see when you put your card up like this, it's going to look like a Christmas tree. So there. So what we're going to do next is just decorate your tree with anything you like. You could decorate it with bits of tissue paper, all screwed up into balls. Those look like little baubles. So let's pop one of those on there. In fact, I'm going to make this into a couple of baubles. Put one there. Going to make another bauble up here. And maybe I'll put one down here and one over here. And one at the top. Very nice. I like to decorate things in groups of 3 or 5. So you can count here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I just like doing it that way. I think it looks very, very nice. Makes them look evenly spread out. So let's pop one there. And one up here. Lovely. Now, what does it need next? I think some tinsel. So I've got this silver pen here. Let's pop the lid back on that glue now. With the silver pen, I'm just going to draw some tinsel going up and down the tree in zigzags. What do you decorate your tree with at home? Perhaps you put little chocolates on the tree if you're very lucky. Or maybe you decorate it with other things that you've made at home. Lovely. Now, this doesn't look very much like soil at all, does it? And actually, I'm thinking, what do we have in the winter? We've got lots of snow, so maybe I'll use some white down here, or maybe I would use some brown for some soil, and you could do the trunk in brown as well. Or you could just leave it green, and you could put some lines on, and it would look like grass. So we can do some zigzags here. Make it look like grass. I've got a little bit of brown card here, which I've actually taken from a toilet roll tube. So if I cut down one side of the toilet roll tube, and then I can cut along that way. Now I've just judged that by eye, so hopefully this will be okay. Yes, in fact it's a little bit big. I'll fold that up here. Trim that. Test it again. That looks perfect. Let's stick that down. And the last thing for us to do is to fold this in half again. Make sure that that's stuck down nicely. Excellent. So that's another idea of something that you could do for a Christmas card. You could cut this out into any shape at all. Get really creative. There are no limits to your imagination. So come up with any ideas you possibly could. And we would love it if you could send in some pictures of your ideas through our Tiikat website. You can contact us through the Contact Us section of the website and attach files there. And if we really love your pieces of work, which I think we will, you might even get some stickers. All right, thank you very much for joining me today for this Christmas card making workshop. And hopefully we'll see you again next time in another one of our Christmas workshops.